Hi there YouTube, XtremeTrainz here. So as you can see, I've come out into the new review zone, and that's because there is some stuff I want to review for this video and the next video that doesn't fit on my review desk. So, what is it? Well, the first one you can see is right in front of you. It's the Thomas Wood Straights and Curves Track Pack. Now, as you would have heard me complaining in the reviews of the few Thomas sets I've done, I've said there isn't enough track. Thankfully, Mattel has a financially expensive solution in order to get you some more track, and this is one of those sets. So, what are we waiting for? Let's take a look. So the packaging is your standard Thomas Wood packaging on there, noting again that it includes all these things, like track adapters. Wow! I also want to note here it comes with 6 pieces of track, which I don't think is that many. You get the classic blah blah on the side, again 12 play pieces, but I think that's a bit nonsense because these things should not count as play pieces. We come around to the back, we can see a very accurate description of what you get, which is, funny that, not very much. There you go, you can see what the writing is there. Yeah, whatever, I mean, it's a toy, track pack. How much buyer can you give? Again, interesting to note the Thomas engine is not included. There's all this stuff showing you the unpainted 2018 version of Thomas Wood, which we know now has been replaced. Amazing! But we'll get to that in later videos. So, that's pretty much the box. Nothing that much exciting there. Let's open it up and see what we actually get. So, in front of me, you can see the contents of the track pack. And thankfully for a Straights and Curves pack, they've actually given you more straights than curves, which is great because a lot of sets just come with a lot of curves and not many straights. So, let's have a look first at the actual track that you get that's actually stuff that you want. So move all this plastic nonsense out of the way. You get 4 of the straight pieces. Now Thomas Wood, there's very few sizes, so it's pretty much the 2 pieces of track you can get in Thomas Wood. You get 3 normal ones and 1 with the little hoof prints on it, which is a nice touch. Interesting to note that the massive amount of color variations you get in the wood is the same as it was, as you can see this one is definitely browner than this one, is the same as what you see in the engine's color variation. The second thing is that this one has all the details on it about what is, going on licensing wise, whereas none of the other pieces have anything written on them regarding the licensing. And again, an opportunity to make these into roadways or make you be able to flip them over. No, it's just flat on the bottom. It's very light wood. So what do you actually get in terms of a track pack? As it said on the back of the box, you get enough track to make this thing, which I guess is cool. If we just get this Thomas, which note isn't included, there's an amount of track there, but it's not a lot of track. This track has all the same problems I've talked about in my other reviews. The way this joins together is not very sturdy. They're a very loose connection, and it feels very tight when the engines go around the corners. But, in terms of things that are specific to this set, you don't get a lot of track, but you get an amount of track, which I guess is something. Now, turning to the other play pieces, you get 2 ramps, which I've noticed a couple of the sets that are meant to be coming this year are quite fond of. Again, disappointing these are made of plastic. They did used to be made of wood, and now they're made of plastic, and also they're brightly colored, which I find is kind of weird. These I assume are to, encourage kids to, not need as much track, because Thomas can just play on the floor and then come onto the rails. I hated them as a kid. I wanted to have tracks. So I think these are a cheap cop-out, and I'm not a really big fan of them. At the end of buffers, I think they're fine, but not in substitute of a proper layout. No thank you. Then you get the 2 adapters to Thomas Wood and Railway, and again, they're the same thing I've talked about before. The good thing is you can couple them together and make, now you have an extra bit of track. That's like a 1/3 length or something, but again, it's stupid because now this isn't a uniform length, so you can't use this as effectively as you used to be able to use with the adapters because there's no other track sizes in Thomas Wood. Then you get a little cow crossing sign. It's nice that we get some sign and it's linked to the cow and it's the same shape, but it's weird that it's a different color to the actual cow. If you're going to go to the effort of making a print which looks like it's meant to be the model of the cow, this looks like it's one of the cows from another set or something. Like, make it this cow. I don't understand. That's weird. And also, Xing is like so lazy. So lazy. But at least it's wood. That's something. And yes, last but not least, you do get this little cow. It has the functionality of the other animals, which is, you know, the head can theoretically go all the way down, but maybe not on this one. So it goes down that far, quite stiff, and it goes up that far, down that far, up that far, and then that's pretty much it. It has a little bit of printing on the face, nothing on the rest of the body. Yep, that's a little figurine. Remember when these were made of wood? Yeah, so do I. Yeah, so that's pretty much what you get with this set. The real question is, how much did I pay for it? So, I managed to pick this up with those other Thomas Wooden Railway items from 2018 that I have talked about in my most previous and most recent reviews from Amazon, and that means I paid just over $27 for this with free shipping included. Now, the kicker is that the recommended retail price for this set in Australia ranges anywhere from $32.99, $33, to $38. Let's let that sink in for a minute. Like, this is what you get for $38? Even for $27, I'm like, really? You don't even get a full loop. You don't get any points or switches. That's a separate expansion pack, which currently on Amazon is sitting at like $60 for the switches pack. When the switches are made of plastic, like, what the heck? These engines at full price, which now I've started to see on Amazon, the painted 2019 versions of Thomas Wood appearing, and they are retailing for about $17 Australian. So you could get 2 engines, or you could get this. And in fairness, you know, considering how much wood is in an engine, you are getting quite a lot more wood in this set than you would get if you bought 2 engines. But think about how much play you get out of 2 engines. You get 2 whole characters of this size. You get Thomas and Percy. You can take them anywhere. You can do whatever you want with them. This, you get a bunch of stuff which you don't... This stuff, no one wants that. This stuff, cool, but also could not have that. This thing, don't want this either. Buy. You get these, but you can also get these for free from Mattel if you call them. So really, the only thing you really want in this set are these 6 pieces, and that's just so expensive, particularly because, as I've already talked about, the track isn't very good quality, it doesn't connect together very well, it leaves these weird parts where engines like to fail, there's not a lot of variety, there's nothing on the bottom, you can't flip them over and have it erode like you used to be able to. They're not compatible with other brands unless you use their specific adapters. Like, considering how much of a downgrade this is, I think this is incredibly overpriced for what you get. But, you know, and that's it. Especially because, given there's such a lack of Thomas Wood track available, to make a proper layout, you would have to buy, you know, multiple of the sets, and multiple of these, and multiple of the switches set. Like, you'll pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for Thomas Wooden Railway track just to have a decent sized railway, and I think that's ridiculous. If they want to put a premium on the engines because, you know, they're printed and they're wood and whatever, like, okay, you know, you win this round, Mattel. But charging for something which is so integral to a railway as track, charging so much for so little, I just don't think that's acceptable. And I think that that's something they really need to work on if they want these to sell, because I just don't think it's fair to charge people that much for what is essentially, you know, not even half a loop. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this one. As you can tell, I'm pretty savage. Let me know your thoughts, and do as cool as you do on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, etc. I'm going to keep making some more reviews because that's always, as always, that's what we've got time for. This is XtremeTrainz.